In case of an apocalypse, these 5 buildings are the safest places you could ever find. They're built to survive the end of the world. Hi everyone, Shai here. For today's video, we're going to take a look at 5 buildings that are designed to survive the apocalypse. Number 5. Pigeon Island Fortifications. Pigeon Island, located off the northern coast of St. Lucia in the Caribbean, is home to a series of fortifications that have endured centuries of conflict. Originally, a small island separated from the mainland, it was joined to St. Lucia by a causeway in the 1970s, but it retains its isolation. The military history and stone construction have left behind structures well suited for survival in catastrophic conditions. The fortifications date back to the 18th century, when the British established a naval base during their ongoing conflicts with the French. Fort Rodney, the most prominent of these defenses, was built on top of the island's highest point to serve as an observation post. From this vantage point, the British could monitor the shipping lanes and detect any French movements around Martinique, just 25 miles to the north. Constructed from local stone, the walls and adjacent batteries were designed to withstand naval bombardment and tropical storms. Thick walls, vaulted storage rooms, and underground cisterns allowed the garrison to endure sieges and extended isolation. During its height, the fort complex included barracks, powder magazines, signal stations, and kitchens, supporting a self-contained military community. Even after its military importance declined in the 19th century, the island's buildings retained their durability and continued to serve as shelters. In modern times, Pigeon Island has been preserved as a national park and historic site. Visitors can explore the remnants of Fort Rodney, climb lookout points, and see firsthand how natural and built environments combined to form a defensive stronghold. Although centuries old, the fortifications' location and construction still make them formidable against natural hazards, such as tropical storms, which frequently impact the Caribbean. The high elevation provides security against storm surges, and the causeway can be closed off to isolate it from the mainland if necessary. While no longer used for defense, the fort complex remains an example of how pre-industrial architecture can still offer refuge in an age of modern disaster. Number 4. Fort Boyard. Fort Boyard is one of the most ambitious maritime fortifications ever constructed by France. Located in the Bay of Biscay, this oval-shaped stone sea fort rises from the ocean on a sandbank known as the Long Dire. Today, it is world famous as the setting for the long-running television game show Fort Boyard. Originally, however, its purpose was national defense, and its design embodies endurance principles that make it uniquely suited to survive catastrophic events. Its origins date back to the late 17th century. During the reign of King Louis XIV, the French coastline was home to one of the country's most important naval arsenals, but the river estuary leading to Rochefort was vulnerable to British attacks. A fort on the Boyard sandbank was proposed to protect the route. However, engineers of the era, including Sébastien Leprestre de Vaubank, France's foremost military architect, concluded construction on such shifting sand was impossible, and the plan was shelved for more than a century. By the early 19th century, advancements in engineering and renewed threats from Britain revived the project. Napoleon Bonaparte ordered the construction of Fort Boyard in 1801 to strengthen coastal defenses. The goal was to create a fort armed with heavy artillery capable of controlling the sea passage and preventing enemy ships from landing troops. The sandbank on which it stands is fully exposed at low tide, but submerged at high tide, so engineers devised a method to create a massive stone platform as a foundation. Construction of the fort itself began in 1804. The elongated oval measured about 68 meters long and 31 meters wide, with walls rising up to 20 meters above the sea. Despite the massive effort, changing military technology overtook the fort before it was finished. By the time construction resumed in the 1830s under King Louis-Philippe and was finally completed in 1857, steam-powered ships and advanced artillery had rendered static sea forts less effective. Still, the fort has endured for more than 150 years in one of Europe's harshest maritime environments. Constantly battered by salt spray and high tides, its stone walls have required little reinforcement beyond maintenance. From a survival standpoint, its isolation, accessible only by boat or helicopter, provides inherent security. The multi-level interior could be repurposed for storage, living quarters, and defensive positions. While it lacks fresh water, rainwater catchment systems could be installed, and nearby islands could serve as supply points. Today, it is preserved as a historical monument under French law, though not open to the general public due to safety concerns. Fort Boyard remains both a relic relic of Napoleonic ambition and an enduring example of sea-based fortifications. Number 3. The Apodum. The Apodum, located in the Czech countryside near the German border, is widely recognized as the largest private underground survival shelter in the world. Conceived during the Cold War as a joint project between Czechoslovakia and the Soviet Union, it was originally intended to protect political and military leadership. The original structure, built in the 1980s during heightened nuclear tensions, was placed deep underground to withstand shockwaves and radiation from a nuclear blast. Its concrete-reinforced walls, several meters thick, and blast-proof doors provided maximum security. After the Cold War, it was decommissioned and remained dormant until the 2010s, when it was purchased and redeveloped into a luxury survival complex for ultra-wealthy clients. Renamed the Apodum, the project maintained and enhanced its protective features while adding modern comforts. The facility features its own power generation, water purification, and air filtration systems. Food storage and hydroponic gardens allow for long-term self-sufficiency, while medical facilities and secure communications ensure occupants can survive in complete isolation. The interiors are designed to resemble a luxury residence rather than a military bunker, with private apartments, spacious bedrooms, gourmet kitchens, entertainment areas, a swimming pool, spa, and cinema. Designers incorporated high ceilings, simulated natural light, and artificial window systems to reduce bunker fatigue, a common psychological issue in long-term shelter scenarios. The Apodum is marketed to an elite clientele, with ownership or long-term leases reportedly costing tens of millions of dollars. While details about occupants remain confidential, promotional materials show highly customized living spaces. Critics argue that such facilities highlight inequality in disaster preparedness, while supporters say they repurpose abandoned Cold War infrastructure and push innovations in secure construction. As of 2025, the Apodum remains fully operational, with an undisclosed capacity. Estimates suggest it could house dozens of people for months or even years. It has attracted renewed attention as both a symbol of preparedness and a glimpse into how some envision surviving potential future catastrophes. Number 2. The Grain Tower Battery. The Grain Tower Battery, located at the mouth of the River Medway, where it meets the Thames estuary in Kent, England, is one of Britain's most unusual fortifications. It is built on a tidal sandbank and accessible only at low tide or by boat. Its history spans over 150 years and involves military needs from the 19th century defense against French invasion to adaptation during both World Wars. Today, it stands as a monument of enduring military technology. Construction of the Tower Battery began in 1848 amid rising tensions between Britain and France. The Royal Commission on the Defence of the United Kingdom recommended a series of coastal forts to protect key naval installations. The Medway and Thames estuaries were of particular strategic importance, serving as gateways to London and the Royal Dockyards at Chatham. A fort at Grainspit, the tidal sandbank where the Medway meets the Thames, would allow crossfire with existing defences at Sheerness, creating a deadly barrier to any hostile ships. The design was directly inspired by Martello towers built earlier in the century, squat, circular forts with thick masonry walls, but scaled up to accommodate heavier armaments. The tower was constructed of brick and granite on a circular plan roughly 60 feet in diameter, with walls up to 12 feet thick at the base. Foundations were laid on timber piles driven into the sand, overlaid with stone and concrete to resist scouring by the tides. The fort was completed in 1855, creating one of the most isolated defensive outposts in the country. Initially armed with 32-pounder smoothbore guns, the Tower Battery was upgraded repeatedly over the following decades as technology advanced. By the late 19th century, rifled muzzle-loading guns and later breech-loading guns replaced the original armament, significantly increasing their range and accuracy. During World War I, the tower was modernized with quick-firing guns to defend against fast-moving torpedo boats. World War II brought even more extensive changes. A concrete blockhouse and searchlight positions were added. Despite the upgrades, the isolation and limited capacity meant it played a supporting rather than a central role. After the war, the Grain Tower battery was decommissioned and left to the elements. Its location and tidal isolation made reuse impractical. However, the same qualities that rendered it obsolete for modern warfare have preserved it as a time capsule of 19th and 20th century military architecture. From a survival standpoint, the battery possesses significant advantages. The tidal moat created by surrounding waters offers a natural defense against intruders, while the rooftop provides a commanding vantage point over the estuary. In recent decades, the tower battery has attracted urban explorers, photographers, and occasional private buyers intrigued by its unique setting. It has been listed for sale multiple times and is often described as Britain's most unusual property, a literal fortress in the sea. Ultimately, it represents a convergence of military history and architecture built for specific defensive needs that have long since passed. In an era of increasingly complex threats, from climate disasters to societal instability, this forgotten sea fort offers a reminder that simple principles such as thick walls, strategic location, and self-sufficiency can provide lasting security even in the most extreme circumstances. Number 1. The Ellicay Hunting Lodge. The Ellicay Hunting Lodge is one of the most isolated buildings in the world. It is located on a small, uninhabited island in an archipelago off the southern coast of Iceland. The island is a grassy, volcanic outcrop with no permanent residents, no harbor, and no easy access other than by boat or helicopter. That single white house perched on the plateau has captured global attention for its seclusion, leading to frequent myths and misconceptions about its purpose and origins. Contrary to rumors that it is a survivalist bunker, secretive retreat, or celebrity hideaway, the building is in fact a hunting lodge owned by a hunting association. The lodge was built in the 1950s for use by a small group of local hunters who travel to the island seasonally to hunt puffins, which nest in large numbers on the cliffs. Despite its simple purpose, the building's location and construction give it qualities well suited for survival in catastrophic scenarios. The lodge is a basic but sturdy structure designed to endure the North Atlantic climate. Built of wood and insulated for cold conditions, it sits atop the only relatively flat section of the island, away from wave impact zones. While it lacks electricity and running water, the building contains bunks, a basic kitchen, and storage areas. Fresh water is collected from rain or brought in by visitors, and supplies are stocked during hunting trips. Ellicay has occasionally been mistaken for Björk's private island due to online misinformation, though that claim has been repeatedly debunked. In reality, the island is the lodge and is managed communally by members. Access requires permission and careful planning, as the journey by boat or helicopter can be hazardous, particularly during Iceland's frequent storms. In a hypothetical apocalyptic scenario, its remoteness, combined with the abundance of seabirds and fish, would allow for a basic but sustainable refuge, albeit one requiring exceptional self-sufficiency. The enduring interest in this place lies not only in its stark beauty, but also in the way it demonstrates how isolation itself can function as a form of protection. So, that's it for today. If you're still watching, make sure to hit that like button, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel, so hit subscribe now, as it really means a lot to me. Don't forget to leave a comment and let me know what you thought of the video. I'll catch you soon in the next one. Till then, peace out.